Hi guys, welcome back, and this time I'm in a Megane R26. So without getting too boring and geeky, the Megane R26 second generation is a 2 litre 4-cylinder, front-wheel drive, turbocharged, hot hatch, and standard they came with around 230 horsepower. This one's been remapped and had a few simple mods like an induction kit, an aftermarket exhaust to make it around the 260 horsepower mark. So it probably, if you look at my previous video, puts it on the same sort of pace as my low boost 172 Cup, which is 230 horsepower, but of course slightly lighter. So I've been out in this car all day trying to get shots, etc. for this video, and just getting to grips with what the R26 is all about. So this is probably the third iteration of the Mark II Megane. So they brought out a few of them. They brought out the 225 originally, then the F1 Team Edition, and then finally the penultimate R26. What this had over all of the other cars, and the key difference that makes this car so enjoyable, is that it came with a limited slip differential as standard. So you get a few other things in the R26 that you didn't get in the normal Megane F1 or the Megane 225. However, that key highlight of this car is the limited slip differential. I probably covered this in a few of my other videos, is that chucking a load of power into a hot hatch and then expecting it to go around a corner without a limited slip differential is asking too much. But the fact that this car came with only 230 horsepower as standard, but a differential as well, just means that it feels so poised to drive. I've driven my Clio, and it's a bit of a handful in the corners. You've got no driver aids, but you've also got 230 horsepower firing in the front wheels with no differential at all. So the difference that this makes, considering their similar power, is literally night and day. Like I can't imagine being able to keep up with this. In fact, I can't keep up with this. Aside from that key difference, you've got a few other nice things in here. So the cabin is very much the same as the rest of the Meganes. The interior is the same, but you get these nice half leather, half Alcantara seats, which are really nice. They're actually really comfy and they support you really well, especially when you're trucking it into the corner, which of course this is what this car is amazing at. So it makes sense to have these seats to support you whilst you do it. And of course they look the part too. It's got everything that you would need, including aircon. So on a hot day, not that we get many of them in the UK, but you won't end up baking in your own car like you would in an older hot hatch. You've got the unusual looking handbrake here, which is interesting. I don't think this car has a short shifter or anything, but the input feels amazing. Like, you know, you're pretty sure where it's going to go. It's not ropey, it's not, well, what gear am I in? It's just their third bang, done. So you've got this really sporty feel inside the cabin. One thing I will say is that it's made a lot better, or the quality, even though it's a Renault, is way better than my Clio. This is definitely an upgrade. In fact, I've been driving this for an entire day now, and I have to say, I am tempted. There's no doubt about it. It's just a far superior car in every sense. I think straight line speed, being only 260 horsepower, it's probably on par with the Clio. In fact, I think the Clio walks away from it a little bit in a straight line, but what you lose in a straight line, this car will walk over probably quite a lot of front-wheel drive hot hatches in the corners because of that limited slip differential. You can just put it into a corner and keep your foot pinned, and it, rather than where you do that in most cars, in a lot of hot hatches, if you put your foot down into a corner too early, you'll invoke understeer and you'll end up in a ditch. Whereas in this car, it will actually drag you round the corner. You put your foot down as you enter the corner and it will just grip and go. Personally, I've never driven a front-wheel drive car with a limited slip diff. I've thought about it quite a bit in my Clio, but it's really expensive to do. But of course these come with them as standard, and they're just incredible. Also got this really cool little noise that comes out the engine. There's a dump valve fitted, which isn't standard, but every time you let off, you can hear this dump valve noise, which just makes you want to keep doing it. And the way it turns in, it's just amazing. Like, I'll be honest, I can't drive the car hard enough to actually make it do anything, but then I'm not the best driver in the world. Probably not that confident either behind the wheel, but you get the sense that this car is capable of way more than I'm capable of, that's for sure. This car is actually pretty standard, to be honest. It hasn't really got any modifications at all. It might have a dump valve on it, and it's got I think it's been remapped to around 260 horsepower, but short of that, it's a completely stock car. And I'll be completely honest, I don't think that this should be modified in any way at all. There's really no need to chuck a load of power in this, unless of course you're at the point where you can lay it all down on a track and you're chasing a quicker time. In terms of road use, this has got everything you'd need. I can't see a need for more power or a need for, you know, a remap or bigger brakes, etc. Just everything works beautifully. Before I stepped into this car, I'll be honest, I felt that because it was a bigger car and it wasn't quite as raw as what I'm used to with the Clio, that it would probably feel a bit numb to drive. But even though the gear input is certain, you've got these nice comfy seats, you still feel really connected to what you're doing. I definitely think that one of the coolest things about this car is how understated it actually is. Minus the leery yellow colour, of course, it's got a certain understatedness to it. It does its job so well that in fact you can pin it around corners and hold one hand on the wheel and have every confidence that it's going to pull you around. Whereas in some cars you'd be battling to hold on, and really quite terrifying, really, like a white knuckle ride. You've got no hint of that in this car at all. It just does its job so well, and I think that's what's brilliant. There's no massive pops and bangs, there's no loud exhaust note or flames flying out the back. It just goes from point A to B as quick as possible. It might not be the fastest car in a straight line, of course, but you don't really need that when you can carry all the speed you want through the corners. Anyway, I hope I've done the car justice. I think I have. If you haven't gathered, I absolutely love this thing. I think it's fantastic, and the fact that you can pick these up for around £6,000 is just an absolute steal. I hope you like this video. Subscribe for more coming soon. Cheers.